Hi guys, Sharath here. So I know this is not perfect, but I think we're getting there. This is kind of a new experiment into this long medium. Uh, I've been vocal on different mediums to express myself, say Facebook and Instagram and Twitter lately. Uh, I guess I found some limitations, and I think this longer medium could help resolve those things and in expressing myself, and hope by this kind of uh, encourages or inspires some other people to express themselves as well. So already there are a lot of people doing vlogs and stuff, but yeah, I'm trying to be keep it simple and simply not trying to sell anything. So that's that, I guess. So what we will be calling this thing? I think we could call it. Lately, I've been hard to reach. I think it's a bit long sentence, but it's my favorite lyric from my favorite rapper Eminem, from his song Beautiful. So it kind of fits the agenda of this thing. So yeah, so lately I've been hard to reach. Yeah, so what's been happening lately? So yeah, a lot of things that's been happening, including the US elections that I've been vocal about in many other forums as well. We've been discussing about those things. Yeah, as a libertarian myself, I found these things interesting because there are so many overlaps between the country that I live in. India is an oldest democracy, and the US is one of the US is one of the oldest democracy, and India is one of the biggest democracies. So these things kind of overlap in how these things function. So while having this forum discussion, we found so many things that both of us can learn from each other countries, I guess. So that was interesting. So I'm here to share this stuff. So yeah, before the election, I guess it was very polarized thing. No, one side was not willing to listen to the other side. So that kind of changed gradually, and towards the end it became a very close race, so much so that they don't know who is going to win, because there is so many overlapping things happening in those things. So that was interesting thing as a libertarian, to witness those things, I guess. Yeah, so Trump won. I guess people are still trying to understand what's happened there. Yeah, how did it swing from one way to the other? It was a decisive victory. It cannot be said like the other way around. So it was a really decisive victory because he won by a lot, I guess. It was an interesting thing. So yeah, there was a lot of things that was happening throughout the last 4 years, I guess. There were so many wars, and yeah, it started off with the pandemic, I guess, the previous election. So there was a need for a big amount of spending, and then the Democrats kind of was needed at that point to, I guess, spend all those things to bring the economy back, and it was a necessity back then, I guess. Joe Biden served the time well, but it also opened the floodgates. Well, since there is more spending and there are more wars, there is more and more spending. It kind of opened the gates for so many things that happened after that, and yeah, I think I saw it reversal in the cycle. I guess most of the people were seeing that, and it kind of yeah, so many things are going to be happening around this reversal of the cycle, and one of those things, tariffs that happened. One of the interesting things that I saw was the conversation kind of turned into something like America is like a woman that has to be protected by the Trumpians, and the Kamala Harris stakeholders, they said we need freedom and such things. So that became the talking point of the discussion. But purely economically speaking, tariffs don't work that way because they are already importing half the world's exports. So there is literally very less there are tariffs, but it's not totally free trade, but there are tariffs, but mostly they are importing most of the things, and it works like they mostly import those things and they make use of those things, and the economy grows inside, and they kind of export certain things as well. The most things that they export are technological and innovation related things, and the other things they kind of outsource those things, I guess. So there was this tariffs that kind of would benefit kind of like union workers and kind of blue collar jobs and things like that, I guess. So that became a big base, and the Democrats were hoping for union jobs and increasing more union jobs and those things, and they Trumpians were saying we're going to increase tariffs and bring more jobs, and both can be said true, but how the things will pan out, we have to wait and see. But yeah, it was interesting thing, but because India also have a highly tariffed country, one of the highly tariffed countries is India, because most of the local industries are protected, and yeah, I think in my personal opinion, those things will have to, as a libertarian, I feel these things has to be reduced and to increase more competition, and therefore make it easier for people to consume, and their standard of living will improve and such things. But there are some hard pills to swallow as well, because the skill level and the education level, this also has to be risen to compete with the world at the same time. So there are some trade-offs. I think gradually people will reduce tariffs, but they also have to improve the education skill level and those things that which will also happen throughout this time, I guess. Irrespective of these things, yeah, the gender thing became a very prominent thing, which I find amusing, because yeah, tariffs and reproductive freedom of this thing, they're not the same thing, but the conversation went like that, and most people thought the woman has to be protected, and they voted Trump, and even though there was a lot of Nobel laureates and economists, and these people were there towards the Democrat side, the populism won, because I think it is how many people. It's very hard to explain those things to normal people, and where their emotions run high when you say a country is like a woman and it has to be protected and such and so. I think that narrative kind of played out prominently, and whatever it is, they had to take their result. Whatever the people of the state choose to do, they had to accept the results and move forward, I guess, whatever it is. But yeah, there are a lot of things that came into play, including the abortion rights and reproductive rights and things like that. One of those things I felt was like the Roe vs. Wade was taken down by the Supreme Court, and the policies will be decided by the states. I mean, some states there are already reproductive freedoms are protected, and some states they don't want to do things a certain way. So, but you have to do that. It's a cultural thing. This also happens in India, but some states agree on certain things, some states don't agree on certain things in certain places. So, but it's mostly a cultural thing. You have to, on the ground, you have to convey and make people accept those things. So you legislate certain things, and then it kind of passes this thing, not the other way around. You cannot pass the legislation that force all the people to accept those things. So on that note, I think they tried. There were so many people. There were so many people, I think, tried to help Kamala Harris, but how close, how good the outcome was, we had to know. We don't know. We have only the people in those states will know, and how the conversation that's happening, even though after the election was won or lost, the conversation will keep on happening, and these things will decide how the culture evolves and how things move forward. So I guess that's an interesting thing. But one of this is one of those elections where the whole world watches the U.S. election, and I think I too had participated in some forum dialogues and discussions, and I do see a positive thing that's happening. The people are talking about these things, and I guess the more people are free to express what they feel, it will be better for everyone, and that's how I think the persuasion and the culture kind of move forwards. So let's see. I'm hoping things will be good, even though most of the women feel demoralized because a woman president was there close and she got defeated. I don't think defeat is that's an end all thing, but there was a really good conversation that happened, and it will continue to happen, and that's a good thing, I guess. More than it, kind of like a symbolical statement, and that will lead to more conversation, and that will lead to more societal change, I guess. So let's see what happens. So yeah, that's it from me for this week. We'll see you soon, I guess.